Hello and welcome to Small Screen Stories. This is the daily show where I go over all the news in the world of entertainment and pop culture, and all the articles I'm talking about are taken from the website Small Screen, which you can find at small-screen.co.uk. I'm Edward Lauder, I'm the editor of Small Screen, and before I start off, I'd just like to say if you could subscribe, that'd be wonderful. If you could like and follow the page wherever you're watching, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, it'd be really, really cool if you could go ahead and do that. That'd be great. And let's just get straight into the news. And the big news today that, it kind of came out last night, and this is from Geeks Worldwide, is that Alfred Molina is reportedly coming back as Dr. Octopus in Spider-Man 3. So this is actually, when I heard this, we've been hearing all sorts of things about all of these potential players from the old movies, the old Spider-Man movies, coming back into this new one. So we've obviously heard of Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Jamie Foxx. They're all reportedly returning for Spider-Man 3. I've been told differently. I've been told that some of those actors... Well, Jamie Foxx is definitely going to be in Spider-Man 3, but I've been told that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield will actually be in Doctor Strange 2, which is called Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is, of course, directed by Sam Raimi, who was the director that brought us the very first Spider-Man films, which were really, really great. And according to these news sources, again, this is from Geeks Worldwide, Alfred Molina is also going to be returning as Dr. Octopus. So I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, well, again, it's a rumor. You have to take it with a pinch of salt. This is all speculation from this moment on. This is nothing that's been officially confirmed by any of the major trades out there. But he is, according to their sources, he's on set. So I think Spider-Man 3, is filming right now in Atlanta, and apparently he's on set filming, and it's going to involve the multiverse in some aspects. That's apparently what's being said. I'll read out what Geeks Worldwide wrote. A source within Disney Marvel has informed Geeks Worldwide that Alfred Molina will be returning to the Spider-Man franchise to reprise his role as the famed Dr. Octopus. Plot details are, of course, scarce, as they always are with these super secretive Marvel productions, but we were informed Molina arrived on set a bit ago to work on some stunt choreography, and he's started filming his scenes in the past couple of weeks. So, as I said before, take this with a pinch of salt, but if that's true, it's very, very exciting, because as far as I'm concerned, I do not believe that there's anybody out there better than Alfred Molina to play Dr. Octopus. I think he was fantastic in Spider-Man 2, and arguably one of the best villains of all time, definitely one of the best kind of Marvel villains of all time. And Marvel has had a bit of, should we call it? Yeah, it's a bit of a villain problem over the years. They kind of rectified it a bit with Thanos especially in Avengers: Infinity War, but then the Endgame kind of spoiled that. Loki is a very good villain, but they haven't really had anyone with the same kind of gravitas and also the same kind of pathos as Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus, and I really couldn't imagine recasting that role, so that's probably why they've gone ahead and done this. Also, Scott Derrickson, of course, in his recent tweet said that all versions of Spider-Man are canonical, which, of course, means that you've got Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, possibly even the Japanese Spider-Man, of course, Tom Holland. They are all reportedly canonical, according to Scott Derrickson, who was, of course, the director of the very first Doctor Strange film. He left the Doctor Strange 2, unfortunately, due to creative differences. But I think it'd be really interesting to see Alfred Molina return as Dr. Octopus. What do you guys think about that? Let me know in the comments below. Right, moving away from that, and moving on to another This is another rumor, and apparently Black Widow is going to be released on Disney Plus on April 16th via Premier Access. So this comes after there was a reported leak of a trailer. And this trailer was for Disney Plus, and in particular, it was for everything that was coming to Disney Plus, including Disney 18 Plus, I suppose is what they're going to call it. And this is, again, rumors. Nothing has been confirmed. Although I do know that they're having an investors call meeting on the 10th of December. We'll probably know more then. I've seen in some trades, Deadline have reported that Black Widow isn't going to be coming to Disney Plus. Other people have said that it is. and they might be considering a two-pronged release approach where they release it both on Disney Plus and on Premier Access, so you have to pay for it, but you get to watch it in the comfort of your own home. And then you also have the option of watching it in the cinema if cinemas are open by then. April 16th seems like a good date for it, I think. Hopefully by then things would have gone back to some kind of normality, fingers crossed. And I like this idea. Again, this leaked trailer, I suppose, I don't think it's real. I said in the article, I'm pretty sure it's fake, but it's a very good fake. I just don't see a Disney employee taking his or her phone out whilst they're watching some sort of screening. And judging by the camera angle, they're right at the front. It's very steady. It's very in focus. It's a bit too good, if that makes any sense, to be a genuinely genuinely leaked trailer. And also, it's just too kind of, what's the word? It's a bit too good. It's a bit too perfect. It's like they also in this video announced dates for like a whole load of not just Marvel or Disney films, but also the films that they acquired after they bought the rights to 20th Century Fox. So things like what's the film? What's the Drew Goddard film? Or Widows was one of them. Bad Times at the El Royale, The Shape of Water, Red Sparrow, The Kingsman, Secret Service, of course, New Mutants, Logan, Deadpool, Deadpool 2. And like Deadpool 2, Logan, and Bad Times at the El Royale, those sorts of films would reportedly be released on a Disney Plus 18 Plus. Disney 18 Plus, I suppose is what they're going to call it. And that would be kind of hidden behind, that would be like password protected so that Disney can keep its family friendly kind of feel to it. And they have this section of the streaming either app or website that would be locked to people of over 18 years old that have the specific password. It might end up getting a bit confusing or difficult if you were to say, set up a Disney Plus account. You are maybe you can't set up a Disney Plus account unless you're over the age of 18, actually. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm just wondering how will they be able to check the ages of people? Again, I suppose it's up to your viewer discretion advised. If you feel like your children who are possibly over like the age of 13 or 14 can watch these things, then maybe that's up to you. That's up to the parent. It's just one of those things that it's difficult to control, so maybe they just won't bother, and they'll just maybe you can't actually subscribe to Disney Plus unless you're over 18. I'm not entirely sure about that. I wasn't asked for any identification but maybe it's got something to do with your bank account. I don't know. But that's just one of those things. It's difficult. It's difficult to police these sorts of things online. But it looks like Disney. I mean, the rumors are that they're going to do this. It kind of makes sense if they do this. I've heard some people say, "Well, why not just put this stuff on Hulu?" The problem is, which is actually it's basically almost entirely owned by Disney now. It's a part of Disney. The problem is releasing on Hulu is that Hulu is only available in North America. I think it's actually only available in the United States. I'm not entirely sure on that. It's probably available in Canada, but it's definitely not available in the UK, definitely not available in Europe. I don't think it's available in Australia. So releasing stuff on Hulu would kind of be useless. It would just be for American viewers. I know American viewers only, if there is anyone in America, don't take this the wrong way, but you tend to be very US-centric and US-focused. There is an entire world out there that Disney actually, that part of the box office is far larger now than the United States, and that's just how things are going, especially with China. But then I don't think Disney Plus is available in China. I'm not entirely sure on that, but it's just interesting to see. First off, these are rumors. This is all speculation. But if this is true, I actually think it would be quite a smart move on Disney's behalf. But what do you guys think about this? Would you like to see a bit like what they've done with Wonder Woman 1984? See Disney release Black Widow both on Disney Plus and in cinemas at the same time, and then you'd probably pay about £15 or euros or $20 to watch it on Premier Access on Disney Plus. Maybe price it a bit more competitively than they did Mulan, which of course got people really riled up because they then released it on other platforms for exactly the same amount of money, and you can only rent it on Disney Plus. You don't actually own the you don't own the film. You rent it. You have it available to you on Disney Plus, but I think you could only watch it once. I'm pretty sure you could only watch it once, and you didn't actually physically own it. Whereas I suppose if you buy it off Google Play, you own it as long as Google Play is around. You buy it off Amazon Prime, you own it as long as Amazon Prime's around. You can keep on watching it and rewatch it, and it was exactly the same price. So people were really upset about that. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Right, moving on to Mads Mikkelsen. So yes, it is official. We've been waiting for this for a while, but it is official. Comes from the Wrap. Mads Mikkelsen is officially replacing Johnny Depp as Grindelwald in Fantastic Beasts 3, whatever that will be called. And you know what? I kind of want to watch this film now. I know a lot of people out there are annoyed about Johnny Depp being fired. I am as well. I think it was completely wrong. But I cannot help but be excited about the idea of seeing Mads Mikkelsen play Grindelwald, who I think it's far better casting than Johnny Depp. I think Johnny Depp's a fantastic actor, but I do wonder whether he was slightly miscast as Grindelwald. I think he's a bit too... Johnny Depp's Johnny Depp. He does what Johnny Depp does best, and that's great. But I do think, as far as Grindelwald's concerned, I think Mads Mikkelsen is actually a better fit for the character. Again, as how I've imagined, this is a personal opinion, how I imagined him to be in the books. And I think Mads Mikkelsen is a fantastic actor. I think he's brilliant in everything he's ever been in. Even like the bad movies he's been in, I think he's great in them. But I personally am very, very excited about this. He, of course, said a couple of days ago that he was asked about it by IGN, and he said he hadn't heard anything. Of course, he was lying. He called them rumors, but he knew that he'd been cast as Grindelwald. I'm happy to hear this, to be honest, because I'm hoping. I'm not a big fan of the Fantastic Beasts film. I thought the second one was just awful. I thought the first one was fine, but the best thing about the second movie actually was Johnny Depp. Even though I said earlier that I don't think Johnny Depp was perfect casting for the role, I think he was definitely the best thing in that movie. So maybe this third film might end up being slightly better. There might be more interaction between Jude Law's Dumbledore and Mads Mikkelsen's Grindelwald, which is, of course, there's a history there. We kind of do want to know more about that. That's the part of the story that I think I am the most interested in. And as a Harry Potter fan, as an avid reader of the books, I've read the books multiple times. That is something that I'm more interested in that than Newt Scamander and that whole thing and what goes on. That to me isn't really as exciting as seeing what's going on between Dumbledore and Grindelwald. But let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Right, and moving on, talking of Johnny Depp, the next story is, of course, about Johnny Depp, and that's that he's been denied an appeal by Justice Nicol. And he owes the Sun not 1 million, but close to $1 million in legal fees. And it's been reported by a bunch of sites, and actually they kind of got it a bit wrong. Again, I am not a lawyer. I know a bit about UK law, but not that much. I know everything to do with law as far as journalism is concerned, but not this sort of law. Not libel law. Yes, I should know a bit about that. But as far as appeals go, it's kind of due process to do it this way, and you give the judge an opportunity to review the case and see whether he or her made any mistakes. And Judge Nicol basically said he didn't make any mistakes and he denied them appeal, but it's an appeal in his court. So he won't be the judge that they'll go up against again. And again, Johnny Depp at this point could just decide to drop this particular case because he's got a lot of other cases going on in the United States. He could just, and his legal team might just say, you know what, let's just cut our losses. This was reported from the Times, so I didn't say that before. And Judge Nicol ruled that the case doesn't have a reasonable prospect of success. So this is him kind of giving. It's just the way it's done in courts in the UK. But Johnny Depp can still appeal the case. They can still go and appeal it. It's just the process that they have to go through. And this sort of thing, when you appeal, I think it tends to happen quite often. It is this way that the judge basically denies the appeal and says no, but then they can just go and do it in another court or go in front of another judge. So the actual amount that he's paying the son in legal expenses is £628,000. So that it does come close to $1 million US dollars. This whole story is kind of going on and on and on and on. And personally, I just kind of want it to end because I'm like, after a while, you just think, oh my God, like, I don't think I was shocked that the son won. It was after Johnny Depp was labelled a wife beater in an article written in The Sun by Dan Wooten. And I was quite shocked, I'm going to be honest. I was quite shocked by Judge Nichols' ruling, but that's the decision that he made. So I honestly think as far as this case is concerned, if I was in Johnny Depp's position, I'd probably just move on. And he's got a lot of other cases going on, and I think he should focus on those. And it's just unfortunate. It's just really unfortunate. Hopefully, the truth will eventually come out. I know there are a lot of people out there that support Johnny Depp. I'm kind of, I don't really know what to think anymore. I'm going to be honest. I really don't know. I don't think Johnny Depp should have been fired from Fantastic Beasts. I don't think Johnny Depp's career should be ruined because of this. I also don't think Amber Heard's career should really be ruined because of it. It's one of those things. It's like it's like what happens in their private life, and it's a really difficult thing. It's a really difficult thing to talk about because I've listened to the recordings and they're not good. It doesn't paint Amber Heard in a particularly good light at all. But the thing is like I wasn't privy to what was being said in court, and neither were anybody else. This is what whenever anyone's talking about this thing, they seem to kind of get embroiled in everything and be like, "Oh, we heard everything, we heard all the evidence." But the truth of the truth is that we haven't, we didn't. And it's just the way these sorts of things happen. Is you hear lots of reporting on things, but we weren't part of the jury. We didn't hear what was going on in court. So there could have been a whole load of evidence that we didn't hear. There's just no way of us knowing at this point. Let's wait and see what happens. Hopefully, we'll get to know more about this whole case as other cases go, as Johnny Depp as all of the other cases that he's got going on start to kind of come to their like culmination. I just think hang on and see what happens. There are loads of people out there that support Johnny Depp, and I completely understand why. Let's just wait and see. He's having to pay $1 million in legal fees to the Sun. That must hurt. That must really, really hurt. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Right, moving on to an article that I'm really excited about, and that's that. Again, I want to be quite slightly careful with these sorts of things because I get sent quite a lot of stuff, and this is to do with Alita Battle Angel and a prequel series. So I was told by multiple people, and told actually by the very first person that came to me about this, told me this quite a while ago now, but I didn't know who they were. I wasn't really able to verify their identity, which is something that I do try and do with a lot of my sources, just to make sure that I know that they say who they say, that they are who they say they are. But I was told that a prequel series is in the works and it's coming to Disney Plus, and this is for Alita Battle Angel. I then waited around. I waited for a bit, and then so I will show you here the quote. So I'll put this to this side here. So Disney is in the process of developing an Alita Battle Angel prequel show. This will be for Disney Plus. At the moment, it's unclear if Robert Rodriguez and/or James Cameron will be coming back. So that was the very first thing that came to me, and then I asked around, and I'm full disclosure, I wasn't very sure about this person. So then quite recently, two separate sources I do actually trust, and I've spoken to them about other things in the past, and they've turned out to be kind of spot on, is that they added that as it stands, the prequel series, this will be a prequel series, and they confirmed that it would be on Disney Plus. My sources also added that Robert Rodriguez and James Cameron will produce the show, but it's unclear whether Rodriguez will end up directing any of the episodes. Of course, Robert Rodriguez, I struggle with that name. That's a difficult name to say. But Robert Rodriguez directed the first Alita Battle Angel movie, which was based on a Japanese manga and by... I'm not going to pronounce his name properly, so I actually don't think I'm going to try. But it's a 1990s series called Battle Angel Alita. And there's also a video animation adaptation called Battle Angel, and there is lots of kind of room to figure out what happened, like to do a show on what happened before. Of course, Disney now owns this franchise after they acquired Fox, and this is something that a lot of people out there have been really desperate to see. There are loads of Alita Battle Angel fans, and I completely understand why. I do actually really like the movie. I think it got unfairly criticized by critics, and it didn't do as well as Fox would have liked it to have done at the box office, but it's a really honest film, and I think Robert Rodriguez did a really good job with it. I think it looks phenomenal. So if they can keep all of that and just maybe develop the story and make it I did have issues with the film's story. I thought it was a bit meandering. And I think if they can kind of really tighten that and make a really good series, like a first series, and hopefully get a second series, who knows what can happen with this. I think it's a really good idea. And it looks like people at Disney are very, very keen on it as well. It's something that Robert Rodriguez and James Cameron really wanted to make. James Cameron originally wanted to make it himself, but he ended up not having time, so he gave it over to Robert Rodriguez, who's a brilliant director and a really interesting director to take this project forward. And it looks like they're both going to be involved in this prequel show. And actually, people have been talking about it for quite some time. And Jan Landau, who is one of the producers on the film, actually spoke to Cinema Blend a while back, and he spoke about how fans could get this thing made. Of course, there have been loads of fans online desperately trying to get this thing done. So he said, well, I won't speak specifically about Alita. I would just tell you that I think James Cameron and I love the opportunities that streaming and these other avenues of distribution are offering people today. And we would love to get into those playgrounds and play in them no matter what the title is. So he was kind of saying that this is where they want it to go. They want it to go to streaming. It looks like Disney agrees with them. They've managed to sort out some sort of deal, and the show is now in development, so actively in development. So they're probably, again, these are questions that I asked my sources, and they weren't able to tell me, but they're probably at the moment, this is speculation now, in the script phase of things, scripting the show. It's not sure what it's going to be based on, whether it's going to be based on the original series or whether it's going to be based on the actual prequel novel that came out called Iron City. I have asked. I've also reached out to Disney for comment, and they declined. Well, they just didn't reply, which is how it tends to go in these things. They never reply to any of my emails, which is good fun. But what do you guys think about this? Is this something that you're interested in doing? Is this something you're interested in watching? Is Alita? Did you like Alita Battle Angel? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Right, next story, and the next story is this again is this comes from We Got This Covered. So do take that with a pinch of salt, but sometimes they're right about things. But according to them, John Cena and Margot Robbie are reportedly being considered for roles in the Terminator franchise. John Cena and Margot Robbie in a Terminator movie. That's not bad casting. I think that would be really fun. I think John Cena is someone that kind of is a bit like The Rock in the sense that he seems to work really well in action films and in movies just generally. He's a really good actor. And people really gravitate towards him and like to see him in films. And he's he's an imposing screen presence. And I think he'd be perfect for the Terminator franchise. I also think Margot Robbie would be quite good. But as far as Margot Robbie's concerned, she's got a lot on. So she's still, as far as I'm aware, going to be playing Harley Quinn for the foreseeable future. Let's see actually what happens in the Suicide Squad, whether that ends up being her final Harley Quinn movie. But she's also got this Pirates reboot coming out. She's working on so much stuff. She's producing loads of things. So I'm not so sure about her being in it, but it might end up being a scheduling thing. But as far as Paramount Pictures are concerned, apparently, according to We Got This Covered, they're very interested in getting both of those actors into the Terminator franchise, which is in desperate need of some kind of franchise Viagra, and probably end up bringing The Rock in that. But John Cena's a pretty good replacement, and I think he'd work really well. I think they might have to move away from like Arnold Schwarzenegger and do something a bit different, kind of really reboot the franchise. There have also been rumors that Robert Patrick, who played the T-1000, might be involved in a future Terminator film. So it looks like things are happening. But do you think it's a franchise that really needs to carry on? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Right, moving on to another We Got This Covered story. There's a lot of them. According to them, Sonic the Hedgehog, again, it's Paramount Pictures. According to We Got This Covered, Paramount Pictures is looking to make a Sonic the Hedgehog spin-off movie, which will be a Knuckles film. So I'm going to say it right here. I think Sonic the Hedgehog might end up being my favorite blockbuster of the year. It's just been one of those years. I actually really enjoyed that film. I would definitely say it's one of the best video game movie adaptations I've ever seen. And I think I would say the second one is probably Detective Pikachu, which I also quite enjoyed. But I thought this was actually a really well-made and solid movie. It was originally, of course, going to come out in 2019, and then it got pushed because the trailer came out and people were horrified, myself included, by Sonic's design. He looked awful. They went back to the drawing board and with the character and redid the character in the whole movie. It took them ages. They ended up bringing it out in 2020. I think it was in February. They brought it out maybe a bit before. And it actually ended up doing really well. It was the last movie to do really well at the box office. And then coronavirus hit and then everyone was in lockdown. But it did well for Paramount. I think it is Paramount. Yeah, it did well for Paramount. And it looks like they're actively developing sequels and spin-offs, and one of those spin-offs is going to be a Knuckles movie, reportedly. Of course, the end of Sonic the Hedgehog, if you haven't seen it, spoilers for the end of Sonic the Hedgehog, but then again, I think everyone's seen that movie now. It's kind of the only movie that came out in cinemas for a long time, apart from Tenet. But like Blockbuster again. There have been other films that have come out. But the movie ends with a little tease of Tails, who is another Sonic the Hedgehog character. So if they're making a sequel, Tails will be in that. Knuckles will probably be introduced in the sequel, and then he'll get his own spin-off film. I think it's quite fun. It looks like they're really looking at this as like a future franchise, which I kind of understand. I think Sonic the Hedgehog it works well for both kind of adults and kids. I think it's just, if they carry on doing what they're doing in that franchise, I think they could do really well. But let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Right. Next story, and this one I'm actually quite interested to know more about this. It's kind of a rumor that actually came from the Hollywood Reporter. So they were saying that that Netflix is trying to buy the rights to Godzilla versus King Kong, which is just kind of insane. Trying to buy it from Warner Brothers. So apparently Netflix has made an offer of $200 million, which doesn't really sound like all that much for Godzilla versus King Kong, but they want to take it directly to streaming. So it sounds as though like this. I don't know what's going on, because it seems to me as though Warner Brothers doesn't really believe that this film is going to do very well, which is quite surprising. But apparently it has a lot to do with China. One of the reasons they don't think it'll do very well is because they don't think it'll do terribly well in China. And that's why the offer of 200 million has been put out there, is because that's how much they think they can get back for it. So basically they'll end up breaking even on the film. The deal seems to be as well. It's between Netflix, and not Warner Brothers, Legendary. What was I saying? And Legendary have financed basically. Okay, so the deal is that Netflix and Legendary, who have financed 75% of the budget, as for the next 6 months, it still looks difficult to bring these sorts of films to cinemas. So Warner Brothers is like the main distributor. So it looks as though it's Warner Brothers the issue. So with Netflix and Legendary do want this to happen. Again, it probably has to do with coronavirus and the fact that they're not sure if they can get the movie out into as many cinemas as they want it to be. So they'll like take the 200 million and then just kind of cut their losses. And then let's see how well it does on streaming. Again, you can't make money from putting it on streaming because people don't pay. They pay a monthly subscription. Sorry, it's late here, and so you don't go to the cinema. You don't get the ticket sales. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens here. It'd be quite interesting. Of course, Netflix have done it before. They did it with the Cloverfield film. We also saw that Coming to America 2 was recently purchased by, was it Amazon? So it seems as though studios are more willing now to just be like, right, fine, you guys buy it. We'll just, just kind of get it off our books and just try and make our money back. And I think coronavirus is definitely one of the reasons why they're doing this. But it had been done in the past before. If they didn't think that these films were going to do very well in cinemas, they'd just go, "Oh, Netflix, do you want to buy it?" And then they put it out on their streaming service. It's happened with the Cloverfield Paradox? That was the name of the film. And it looks like, who knows, it might happen with Godzilla versus King Kong. But I'm actually very surprised about that because that's quite a big film. So let's just wait and see. But what do you guys think about this? Would you like to see it on Netflix or would you rather see it on the big screen? Let me know in the comments below. Right, and on to some TV news. And Mads Mikkelsen has been talking about Hannibal Season 4. And he actually has been chatting to IndieWire about how he would love to find someone to play Buffalo Bill in a potential Hannibal Season 4. So, of course, Hannibal was cancelled by NBC after Season 3, which was really upsetting because Hannibal was one of the best things on TV. And but there have been rumours that Hannibal might be picked up. And I hope it really does get picked up. But they were basically going to do the Silence of the Lambs storyline, which was really, really exciting. The idea of seeing Mads Mikkelsen in a Silence of the Lambs kind of with that story, I think that'd be great. But they didn't get to do it because it got cancelled. But there are rumblings going on in the movie industry or TV industry that they're going to bring it back. And here's what Mads Mikkelsen had to say. I don't think it's a secret that if it does happen, we would love to get into Silence of the Lambs. That's always been an issue because they didn't have the rights for that book. But that's obviously the most famous part, and we'd love to go in there. We'd obviously switch it around a little and do all kinds of crazy stuff with it. That story is so interesting, and the characters in it are as interesting. We'd switch around the genders and maybe even put two characters into one. We would love to find someone to play Buffalo Bill. That's going to be tough. We found a Hannibal, so it's possible. I think he's a funny guy, Mads Mikkelsen. But to me, that sounds fascinating. I do think they actually, Brian Fuller actually managed to get the right. I think he bought the rights to the Silence of the Lambs, so I think they do actually have the rights to that. But Buffalo Bill, if you've watched the original movie or read the book, really, really scary guy. And the whole thing is Hannibal is in prison and he's helping the detective, which I'm blanking on her name, Clarice, to find Buffalo Bill. And he apparently has knowledge of who the person is. It's a really good story, really good movie. I'd love to see Mads Mikkelsen get to play that and see what they do with it. I just really want them to bring this back. I'm so desperate for them to bring it back. Right, moving on. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Do you want to see a Hannibal Season 4? If you don't, what's wrong with you? Right, let me know. Right, Daredevil. That's the next story. The rights to Daredevil, the Daredevil TV and movie rights are returning to Marvel Studios on Sunday, which means that, unfortunately, we can't have a Daredevil Netflix series revival, which is unfortunate. It's also looking like Charlie Cox won't get to play Daredevil again, which is really sad because Charlie Cox was perfect as Daredevil. I also think John Bernthal was perfect as the Punisher. It's just one of those things. It's annoying. It looks like Kevin Feige won't bring them back, which is really annoying. I think they'll rather recast than have people be reminded of the Netflix shows. It's something that I don't think Kevin Feige really appreciated much, and he'd rather have all that behind him. But Yeah, on Sunday, the 29th of November, they're getting the rights back. Basically, the whole thing is that the show was cancelled on the 29th of November 2018, and then there's like a 2-year kind of holding period where Marvel Studios can't use the rights to that character. So the 2 years are up, and now Marvel will get to use the character in whatever movies or TV shows they so wish to use him in. But what do you guys think about this? Do you think they are going to use Daredevil, right, in the MCU? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Right, moving on to Warwick Davis, and this is the final story of the day. Warwick Davis wants Val Kilmer to come back to the Willow sequel series, which is coming to Disney+. Have you seen Willow? It's really, really good. It's much better than people give it credit for. And of course, it starred Warwick Davis and Val Kilmer. And they revealed a couple of weeks ago that Disney Plus is going to make a sequel series with Warwick Davis returning. It's going to be produced by Ron Howard, who made the original film. It's going to be, the pilot episode is going to be directed by Crazy Rich Asians director John M. Chu. He also wrote, I think, a lot of it. Jonathan Kasdan wrote the show, but I think John M. Chu had the original kind of idea and pitched it to Lucasfilm. And yeah, Warwick Davis recently opened up about how he wants Val Kilmer to return. We're not sure if it's going to happen. Hopefully, fingers crossed it will. But here's what Warwick Davis had to say. He said this during an interview with the Radio Times. You know what? It's weird. I've never been able to talk about it. It's weird to be able to talk about it now. It's something which I never thought I would see happen. I'm hoping that we establish Willow as a very accomplished sorcerer now. I hope he's been practicing and we get to see him do some real magic, which would be fabulous. And also I'm hoping that we can reunite with Val Kilmer and Joanne Whaley as well. I would love to see them all come back. I am not so sure whether Val Kilmer would be able to, because he's been quite sick recently, I think. But fingers crossed they do get the whole gang back together again and make a really fun Disney Plus show. I think it might be a limited series, to be honest. I don't think we'd end up getting more than one season of this. But I'm really excited to see it come back. I'm really excited to see Lucasfilm do other things, as just, not just Star Wars. I want to see them do more of this sort of stuff to really expand. I think it's quite important for them to do that. But let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments below. Are you looking forward to the Willow series on Disney Plus? Let me know. And with that, I'll say goodbye. Thank you so much for listening and watching. You can, if you don't like watching live streams, you can listen to this as a podcast. That's Small Screen Stories. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts. You can find it on, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, then please give us 5 stars. That'd be wonderful if you could do that. You can also like and subscribe, follow the Facebook page, subscribe on YouTube, do all that stuff. That'd be really great if you could help me out there. You can follow us everywhere on social media at SmallScreenGB. That's on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I did it the other way around there. If you're watching on Twitch, do whatever you're doing on Twitch. And you can follow me. That's EJ Lauder on Twitter. You can go to the site, which is small-screen.co.uk. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and listening. And I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys, and goodbye.